Mother Nature knew.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mama.
Yeah. All right, we got sound recording.
Recording here.
All right. Cool. Got take two, marker. All right, so ready when you are.
Welcome to the Earth Mates podcast. Together, we explore how to find your path from climate anxiety to community action by asking, who are you? Because just like any relationship, that matters. So get ready to be raw and real, but also playful and silly with me, Chief Relationship Officer Amber Peoples, as we discover what's possible through the lens of the 5 Earth archetypes. Curiosity and subscription buttons highly encouraged. That moment when you catch your breath and you don't even realize you're holding it until it comes out in a sigh. If it's caused by an idea, we call it a light bulb moment. So much so that when it happens in cartoons, a literal light bulb may be drawn over the character's head. Ding! In a more visceral way, nature certainly induces this sensation. The magic hour at sunrises and sunsets, views of rivers, lakes, and oceans, vistas of forests, canyons, and mountain peaks. In fact, studies show that in the US, nature is the #1 source of this type of emotion. Another common place people experience it is in spiritual or religious moments. Though when trying to describe it, they rarely use this actual word. Instead, using words ranging from fearful to orgasmic. So, what is this moment, this sensation, this emotion all wrapped into one? Awe. A-W-E. Now, if I set up the opening of this episode well, you hopefully experienced a little bit of awe just now, an aha moment, a shift that changed you in some way. Perhaps even a little smile or giggle popped out as your body released the internal tension. Storytellers and marketers live for these moments. That's when we know we've got you. As I wove the curiosity and suspense, perhaps you even tried to guess which emotion it may be, which I upped the ante by planting a couple words at the end. And on top of all of that, I used the classic rule of 3 numerous times, including 3 examples like light bulb, nature, and spirituality. The goal was to lead you gently on a journey until the aha moment of awe. Okay, you may be wondering why I just waxed poetic about awe for so long now on a podcast about connecting with the earth. Well, I'm glad you stuck around to find out. And to get right to it, I believe that cultivating our sense of awe is a key component of rebuilding a healthy relationship with planet, self, and others. To dig into that, let's take a look at the scientific definition of awe. It's got 2 components that happen sequentially. First, we have to have an experience of what is called perceived vastness. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird phrase, but it is a cool idea. Ding! Imagine that mountain vista I mentioned before. All the textures, the height, the peak, the snowcap. Your brain and body are trying to take it all in all at once through your senses, but it's just too vast. It's too big for your perception. Thus, perceived vastness. Then, part 2 of the definition comes in to save the day. need to accommodate. Yeah, I know that makes even less sense. In fact, many writers will quote the first part, but not the second. But really, it's a pretty simple process. You need to change to take it in. So that thing, that mountain vista, is overwhelming your senses so much that you must change in order to feel it. That's the aha. The breath in is the overwhelm, and the breath out is the moment of change. Okay, with the definition of awe in our pockets, let's return to the question at hand. Why awe? Why on this podcast? What's the deal? Well, awe is hard to feel in today's world full of constant stimuli. Planes, trains, and automobiles, not to mention phones, drones, and social media, all fight for our attention. Shock rock and shock jocks become normal. Drama and fear fill the news. This type of overwhelm causes us to shut down in the name of basic survival. How? Our brains filter out most of the stimuli coming at us so it can't touch us. Notice that last phrase. So it can't touch us. How are we supposed to experience awe that requires perceived vastness if we don't let anything touch us? That's pretty much a perfect oxymoron. Yet, to be in relationship with all the living things on earth, we have to open up our senses and be affected by them. For those of us who have been trained to let in very little, this can feel like a daunting task. Simple math tells us that the surface of the earth is over 95 billion football fields. And that doesn't even include all the critters in the depths of the soil and water. What I do in those moments of overwhelm is start with what's closest. A potted plant, a backyard, a neighborhood, a nearby forest or meadow. The key is to listen with your whole body, kind of like when you are dancing close with someone. You communicate, but without any words. Because trees certainly aren't using English or Spanish or Mandarin when they share messages. Instead, they use chemical and electrical signals, mycorrhizal networks, and even a type of distress signal. Imagine. What information can we attune to if we open up our perceptions to that vastness? My friend Tim Corcoran is a fun example. He taught nature awareness skills at Headwaters Outdoor School for over 30 years. While on location prepping for a docuseries I'm filming there, aptly named Climate of Awe, I witnessed him work with 8th graders to create walking sticks. And those sticks came from live trees. As Tim hopped from tree to tree, he paused, asked the tree permission, and shared its response with the youth. If yes, the axe did its work. If no, Tim moved on to the next one. In this way, Tim both clears young trees that are encroaching on a meadow and teaches students how to listen to a tree at a critical moment. Another interesting role that awe plays in our relationship with the earth is our sense of self-importance. Psychologist Dr. Keltner illustrates this in his book titled Awe, the New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life. He conducted an experiment where 2 groups of people went on 15-minute walks for 8 weeks. The control group was simply told to walk and take pictures, including selfies. The experimental group was given one more instruction. Look for small moments of awe, like pretty flowers or acts of kindness. The study revealed two important findings. First, the awe group smiled more in their selfies. This is just great all around. But second, over the 8 weeks, the selfies included more and more of the person's surroundings, making the human smaller and smaller in the frame. It's like reaching your arm out as far as you can to include all your friends in the photo. Awe literally open people up to what's around them, creating connection and relationship. See, a healthy relationship with the earth is reciprocal. We honor and listen to the differences we have in order to best give and receive. And to my metaphor types out there, you will be happy to know that Keltner also says that art can help us do this. One of the phrases in his book is, "Art archives awe." Besides being fun to say with all that alliteration, it holds a profound idea. Ding! Art changes us as we perceive its vastness. That one piece of art then shapes entire cultural outlooks. Just listening to the following 4 notes of music. Dun, dun, da-da! Now, even with my tonal issues, you could probably recognize that start of the iconic song that brings people to their feet as a bride enters a wedding ceremony. Or these 18 notes. Now, this may elicit all kinds of emotions, along with images of young and old alike going up and down on wooden horses. Heck, the waves of awe of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour will ripple for a long time to come. I bet 14-year-old girls who become 94-year-old grandmothers will tell their 14-year-old grandkids all about how they sang along with Taylor that one night back in 2024. Now, imagine if more songs and other art forms helped guide us toward our relationship with the earth. What would that look like? Sound like? Feel like? Could it help us connect better with the trees? Relationships can ask a lot from us, requiring us to listen and grow. Awe does the same thing, requiring us to perceive and accommodate. By leaning into the gifts and skills that our Earth archetype gives us, we can discover how to more easily communicate with the Earth. And by tuning into how the more than human world communicates with us, we can expand into even better versions of ourselves. And then on and on it goes. Hey, Earthmate! How did that episode resonate? Did it stretch you, inspire you, or perhaps irk you? I'm here for it, so please reach out. Besides the socials, we have a community to practice with on our website, eartharchetypes.com, where more Earth archetypes can guide your path and become dear friends. A great place to start is the quiz to discover your type. Oh, and on your way, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button. See you again soon.
That's right. Perfect.